Hi, John.
Hey, Alex.
Do you know what I hate?
What's that?
I hate when zombies use axes. Or, God forbid, guns.
Why do you hate that?
Because that handsome boy in this movie hated it.
Oh, you just like him, don't you?
I mean, who doesn't? He's the heartthrob of One Cut of the Dead.
Movies is magic. Real life is tragic. I regret I gotta say, it's time we get away to the movies and magic.
My whole thing about this movie is I'm not gonna make any Luffy, pirate, stretchy boy jokes. Because that's
Okay.
One Piece, not
Right.
One Cut.
Yes.
Okay.
And he can withstand being stabbed, right? It's just drowning. It's just the sea he can't deal with.
The sea, yes, I think that's right. I don't remember the stabbing bit, but it's definitely water is his foe, is his nemesis, is his kryptonite.
As any devil fruit user.
All right, let's talk about One Cut of the Dead, a Japanese movie from 2017. John, please tell us about this movie.
So this is a movie, and we generally give spoilers on the show, but I'm just going to go ahead and say ahead of time, go see this movie. Like, don't spoilers abound. It's part of the fun of this movie is the way it unfolds, and it's worth knowing as little as possible going into it.
I'm going to back you up. I'm glad you remember that because I meant to say this at the beginning of the episode. Is that there is a thing. If you don't want to know the thing, and I'm on record as I don't care about spoilers. I don't.
Yeah.
But I'm very glad I didn't have this movie spoiled. Like it's this really, really works a lot better. I mean, I've never seen it in a spoiled state, but unspoiled, it hangs heavily on that.
And this isn't one of those you won't believe what happens at minute 33. It's worth watching it all play out.
Yes.
All right. That being said, we'll get into it. So this was a movie made by a gentleman named Shinichiro Ueda. He made it for this thing, the Enbu Seminar, which was the sort of drama school in Tokyo. So a lot of the people in it sort of were part of it and so paid to make this movie. This movie only cost about $25,000. Just blew up internationally. Like it's done very well. It's made a ton of money. I think they're making a spin-off where they go to Hollywood or something. The movie opens and it's a movie about people making a zombie movie, and then a zombie attack happens. They're trying to film a movie. The actress isn't emoting the way the director wants. He's screaming at her. They break. The makeup lady, with her and another guy are chatting, and then they get attacked by zombies.
Yes.
It goes from there. And that's the first 30 minutes of the movie. And it's all done in one shot. That's why it's called One Cut of the Dead. Yeah, the initial title was something like whatever the Japanese. I'm not going to try to say it, but it basically was like "keep rolling, don't stop rolling."
Don't stop the camera is what Wikipedia thinks. Thinks it is.
That's a great title for it. I don't know why they changed it, but yeah. So as this progresses, because it does go from this, she is being menaced by this zombie, who's apparently her boyfriend or someone that she knows, and she's not emoting the way he wants to, so he yells at her. And then he fucks off, and she's sad, and the boyfriend's trying to comfort her. And then they're talking to as I said, the makeup lady, and there starts being these awkward pauses that feel very strange. And then while they're talking, they hear a thunk at the door that, oh man, that's because allegedly where they're shooting the movie was also Japanese in World War II. They were testing on reanimating life there, and so this is a cursed place, but that's just urban legends. While they're sort of on pause, the boy is like, hey, do you have any hobbies? Makeup's like, yeah, I've been learning self-defense. And we get our first iteration of the palm slide, which I love so much, which is
it is so fucking endearing.
If you are being grabbed from behind, throw up your arms in a V, squat down, and yell palm, and that's the palm is what gives you power. To do that.
It's so good. Wait. Let's discuss here for a second before we move on. So you when you saw this movie, it wasn't spoiled for you?
No.
Which, by the way, full spoilers now. We're not gonna talk about it now, but
yeah.
I just just in case I let it slip. So, did you fall for this beginning? Did you think this was a movie within a movie, but without the third within a movie?
At this point, I was kind of just going, okay. I was on board with the premise presented to me that here's some people shooting a movie and then they're attacked by zombies.
That's kind of what I'm at. Yeah. So, because I didn't all of the stuff, and that's what I think is brilliant about this, is all the awkward stuff that when the reveal happens later, you're like, oh, that's why that part was awkward.
Yeah.
And like, it didn't occur to me because like, I think it's minute 39-ish when what's it? A True Fear, the movie that we're watching ends. And I'm like, man, that movie kind of sucked, but at least it was short.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know why John made me watch it. Then I look at my thing. I'm like, oh, that was only 40 minutes. Like, no, there's like a lot more. And I'm like, oh, I get it. So like, yeah, this movie got me hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
You know,
So
which
basically,
is, again,
I mean,
yeah.
to get the cat out of the bag, it's sort of like if you've ever seen the play Noises Off. It does this kind of similar thing where it's like you see the scene, then you find out, oh no, this is a movie. We just the movie wasn't what we were watching. We were watching a movie, and then like the second half of the movie, or like the second part, is the guy getting hired to make that movie, and then the third part is them making that movie. So the awkwardness that you might see at the beginning is explained at the end of why it's happening.
Yes.
And yeah, the same reaction too, where I'm like, what's going on here? Why are there credits? Because it keeps going. Yeah, she fights zombies, people die, whatever. Like things happen where she's like, oh, there's an axe. This is lucky. All these, the sound guy on the set like leaves at one point to get murdered by zombies. All this stuff happens and it ends with her killing the zombie and standing on this like drawn pentagram, basically of blood, because the director in the movie has done a ceremony to get zombies to attack the cast. That's the plot of the movie. The credits roll, and then it goes to like a month earlier, however long. It's not a lot of time.
I think it said 1 month.
Yeah, and it's the director. In the movie, the guy playing the director, who is in real life a director meeting with the people that are pitching him this project. This is basically like, we're starting a TV channel that's going to be like all zombie stuff, and we want to do something big and bold to start it off with. So we want to do an original zombie thing. Well, it'll go out live, and it's also going to be a single take,
which is like a double banana. It's like one.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how boring an all zombie channel would be?
Yes. As a fan of the genre, yes, absolutely.
No, like I like a zombie movie, but boy, that would run real dry real quick. And then the doing it in one take is just so boldly stupid that it like kind of makes sense that the executive that came up with the zombie channel would also think a one take movie involving lots of special effects was a good idea.
So I have heard to do the one take that opens this movie took them 2 days and 6 takes to do.
Holy shit, that's not bad.
One of the actresses said that like the second take we got it all right, but there was a technical issue. But then it wasn't until like the sixth time or fifth or sixth, because they probably had to do it like we need one for safety just in case. So they probably had to get it perfect a couple of times. And also though I have read that there's the part where the camera like zooms in on her leg and she like peels off the wound that she had, because just like, oh my god, has she been bitten by a zombie? But it's just like dried blood. That like didn't work, so they had to like edit that in, which I don't know how that would have worked, but I have no proof for that statement other than just. I mean,
either way, it plays like it's one take. Like there's no, when like people try to splice takes together, sometimes it's seamless, but you can usually tell where it's like, oh, they panned across a dark area. And you're like, okay, so they just matched the dark area and panned with the rest of the
shot. Or someone
like
walks into the camera and then like walks.
Exactly.
It's like they use that.
Yeah. But I didn't pick up on any of that, which I'm usually rather like aware of, because I think I like a long take, but sometimes it's a little gimmicky. And this one, the gimmick works because like it's a gimmick, like it's on the table as being a gimmick.
Yeah, it's extremely gimmicky. I am increasingly not a fan of the long take, because I think a lot of times although it can work, I think a lot of times it is done to just be like, look at what I did, look at that. And I don't love it.
In the post-computer age, like where we can just manufacture stuff for the screen instead of like shoot it. Yeah, long takes aren't impressive. But like when you got like that French movie that like starts in the apartment and goes out the window and like moves all around, and it was done like I think pre-Steadicam. Like, I mean, it's fucking impressive. And now it's just like, either you got a drone or you had some nerd just program that shit in. It's not, But this movie looks like it's made for $12. So I'm like, oh wow, they did this.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a movie that I have a problem with this because like this movie, which by and large is about filmmaking and about how difficult it is. But how, at the same time, it seemed really, really fun. There's a documentary about Terry Gilliam trying to make
Quixote.
Yeah, Don Quixote. And just like what a nightmare that was. And both of those movies made me go like, man, I want to make movies.
Yeah.
Like it reminded me like, man, this stuff's fun. Which is just the worst takeaway on one level because they really struggle with this. So the guy, the director, Higurashi, kind of like he lives at home with his wife and daughter. His daughter also wants to be a filmmaker, but she doesn't have the delicate touch. Like we get a little scene of her directing a thing and yelling at a guy or yelling at a child because they're not emoting correctly. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. She refuses to use eye drops to cry, which is like, she's fun.
Yeah. He gets hired. But the woman that hires him to do this, like the producer of the Zombie Channel, just an imp.
You know what she looks like? She looks like an Asian version of Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis and Beetlejuice. You know, the caseworker that's got like the slit throat.
Yeah,
it looks like if she were Asian. That's exactly that. That's just like, what are you? Like, how, your whole thing
what's
is
going
weird.
on here? Yeah. So he ends up agreeing to take it on. Like we get a little insight into his life and like he lives in this tiny apartment. They don't spend a lot of time on it, but like he lives in this tiny apartment with his wife and daughter. The wife is a retired actress, and I really enjoy how her whole thing plays out. She might be my favorite character in this. I'm not sure.
She's great. She is terrific. Though I love the director, like just the actor, like his face is so great. I don't know. There's something like really, like I hope he makes more shit I get to see in America. He's got a very interesting face.
These people, everyone in this movie has like blown up, I guess. Like they've been able to go do a bunch of stuff, which is funny because a character
they
we're
all
introduced to
deserve
later. Yeah. The like the the camera assistant. She was a former idol that they have. The idols are kind of like, just it's almost like the Kardashians where you're just sort of famous for being famous and like everyone knows how fake it is, but they're like, no, your thing is like, so you're an idol and the people of your age group, teens, whatever, look up to you. And then when you age out of it, if you're like at 20 or something like that. And then for a lot of times, like that's it for people, but she's been able to have a little bit of a career after that because I thought I got it. And then often was a huge part of it. I really enjoyed her part of it as well.
Often they get unmasked by Duncan Jacks. They hang out with a baboon.
Man, we still got to watch that.
Wait, that's not the way. Wait, I thought we watched Unmasking the Idol. Which one did we watch? No, we watched Golden Eagle or whatever.
Order of Black Eagle. We need to watch Unmasking the Idol. But so we get all the cast is starting to come together. One of whom is this guy he's worked with a bunch. Manabu Hosada, like is a drunk. We kind of learned that he sneaks to keep his hands from shaking. He's got a water bottle with like vodka or sake in it or something like that. This teen idol guy is there, like this up and coming like cutie man is going to be in it, as well as this like other sort of idol that she played some. I don't remember what the name of the movie is she was in, but she does something called the I-Beam or something like that, and they have her perform it. And that was very cute.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but just like all the headaches of this kind of thing, where she's like, well, I can't have a zombie throw up on me. Like I want to, but my agent won't let me do that. The one lady that's going to play the makeup woman has to show up with her child because she can't get child care. All these little things are starting to be a problem. Just the reality of making a movie. And so we get this little insight into them rehearsing and trying to put this together. The heartthrob kid is. I
like him in how stupid he is, where he's like, yeah, zombies wouldn't use an axe. Like that's, zombies don't have a will. And if you use an axe, it shows you have will. And he wants to be smart. Like he reads in like, oh, there's like a subtle thread of anti-racism in this script. Where, because I think he probably heard about Night of the Living Dead and just said that, even though there's absolutely nothing to do with it in the actual script.
Well, and then like there's the actor who's going to be playing like the assistant director in the movie is like, oh, actually, there's lots of different kind of zombies. He's like, shut up. Like he's just trying to flex nuts. He's not trying to he's not genuinely concerned.
To be fair, that guy was a fucking nerd. He deserved to be
she's a huge nerd. He's very well cast, very perfectly nerdy. And so, you get them sort of preparing to make this movie. And then day of the shoot, the guy who's been a huge drunk is like, I'm not drinking anymore. I'm making a promise to myself because I passed out last time I wanted to see my daughter and it's ruining my life. But he's like still jovial about it. He's like, it's still fun. It's just destroying me. And then there's one guy, and again, like it's a small role. It's a pivotal role. But this guy does it very well, where he's going to play the sound man in the movie. And this gets, I mean, it gets kind of confusing if you aren't confused already, just because all the meta levels of it. But he has an issue. He's emailed them about it. Did you get his email? It is that he can only drink soft water. Otherwise, he will have diarrhea. And he's just constantly explaining, but it's just like the way he's explaining, like, where I send an email. I did email you. Did you get my email? I emailed you.
Well, on that guy, on his note, very important for me to tell the audience that I have discovered one of my favorite things about Japanese cinema is the guy with that thick white headband. Like not like a normal headband, but he's got that kind of rolled up thing.
Yes. Yeah.
This is not, there's no joke here. I'm unequivocally like, man, I love that shit. Like there's something very like stylistic about that. I'm like, I love that guy in all those movies.
But so you start getting a little bit of drama where you start figuring out that as they're shooting, that the woman playing the makeup lady and the guy that's supposed to play the director in the movie are clearly, having an affair. The heartthrob kid is mouthing off and questioning too much. And the director's just trying to put it together. And what I love when the guy is the drunk guy is talking about like not wanting to ruin his life with his daughter. And he kind of starts crying and the director's comforting him. And then it just cuts the director at home crying, looking at pictures of his own daughter and how she's grown up.
Yeah.
And he's sad now. I like that whole little bit. And that's when you get a little.
His daughter is kind of a piece of shit.
But I do like that you get the little shot of her sitting on his shoulders with the camera. Because she's interested in the family business, as it were. Even though, like, he's just like a director for hire. He's not, he's just shooting a commercial. It's nothing special, but she's still, she's
typical Nepo baby.
Yep. Big old Nepo baby. But yeah, so come time to shoot the dang thing, all the stuff you get to see, as we mentioned, all the reasons for the pauses and the messes up and whatever. And it becomes fascinating because you know how this is all going to go down. You've seen it, but you're still caught up in the moment and just like, oh God, I want this to work. And it's just an amazing how they do that. Cause I've seen movies before, like where you sort of repeat things, this all happens sometimes in time travel movies or whatever. Like it's one of my beefs with the movie Time Crime. It's like, oh cool, I got to watch this whole scene again. Great. But they managed to do it in a way where it just recontextualizes everything and you're just on board and also like nervous. You're like, oh, I hope this works.
Oh, 100%. It's so great. I love a gutsy group of low budget people getting together and making things work. Mm-hmm. The star for me was Hosada, him being so drunk that the director has to basically hold him up and parrot it like a Weekend at Bernie's him.
Yeah.
Because he's so hammered.
On his eyelids. Yeah.
It's so I didn't even notice that he painted eyes on his eyelids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even fucking pick up on that. That's hilarious. That was so much fun. Like, because that's like, this movie turns where like, you don't realize that the director is actually like a nice guy because he's such a fucking prick.
Yeah.
But when you like kind of open to how nice he is and then how willing he is to like, just go out of every fucking way to make this thing work is really delightful. And I love a thing that gets explained later. I know that's so simple, but I like that puzzle piece fitting in. You're just like, oh yeah, that puzzle piece just went right there. Yeah, that feels good. Yeah.
But so the director ends up having to step in because the guy playing the director and the one playing the makeup lady got into a car accident onto the way to the set. It's a minor thing. I don't think anyone was seriously hurt, but they got to go. It's live. So he ends up stepping in, and his wife, who's been secretly reading a script, the daughter, she has a conversation with the daughter, and then the daughter like nominates the wife, like, she's been reading the script. She could play it. And the director's like, do it. Absolutely not. She cannot be in this. The wife's kind of like, yeah, no, I really shouldn't be in this. And the reason you find out why is because she gets way into her roles. And the last job she had, she like broke someone else's arm because she just got like too into it.
I'm glad you brought that part up. We're still not 100% sure how real the movie we watched was. Mm-hmm. Like if somebody did go nuts, like if the wife did go nuts and killed somebody on set, like, is that what this movie is? Like it's a movie within a movie, but then something weird happens. So I like that little spot of like, oh no, she gets way too into the role. So like there's this kind of, although you don't like believe it's going to happen, there still is like a looming menace anytime she's got an axe in her hand.
Yeah.
And you can tell she's like not off script, but she's off script. It's really
mentally she's off script.
This is out of nowhere, but I don't know if I can fit it anywhere else. I was picturing how you write this, like just from a script writing perspective. Like I've written like 2 movies in my life, really 1.5. Like I'm not an expert at this, but like, God, that's so fucking intricate to have this many like sub things. Like even from a filming perspective, like how do you film the filming? And then there's a third camera that goes over in the credits and you see the filming of the filming of the filming. Like
Right.
this is so fucking intricate. It's like math. It really
Yeah,
impressive.
I mean, it very much feels like they went, well, we're going to do the movie. So we're going to shoot this and have it all go like one take. And then so when we're filming the filming of the movie, we have a little more leeway to do stuff. I don't think you're necessarily as tied in. You're not as constrained as the people in the movie are. You have a little bit because it's not going
totally,
out live. Yeah.
But it's just impressive from like a scripting standpoint of like trying to figure that out is pretty,
Yeah.
that's big.
Yeah. That's a lot of diagrams. That's a lot of Post-it notes.
Like just think about coming up with like the how long you have to pause during the
Yeah.
awkward. Do you have any hobby scene? The handsome kid and the lead lady where she's like, I love you. And he stops at the end of the movie, not
Yeah.
like when they're parroting the first scene,
Yeah.
like where he stops twice and it's kind of awkward, but it sort of feels like he's responding to her voice. Like trying to write that in a script is really impressive because you're like,
Yeah.
no, see, he's stopping because underneath the director is actually holding stop because they're building a human crane behind it. Like, God, that's fucking good. I'm
Yeah,
jealous.
it's-
I wish I could write that.
And it's the same kind of thing. Like I said, it's that's what makes me excited about filmmaking is that like we make it work. You're making it work. I think, and there's several lines of dialogue about both from like the heartthrob guy who's getting a little like fed up with some of the nonsense, and then like the producer later after he finds out about the car crash or like when the jib falls off later, the jib falls off the roof. He's like, well, just do that. It's fine. This isn't art. It's TV. Don't worry about it. It's not art. It's TV. And like the director is still just like, you absolutely could. And he kind of acquiesces a little bit and you absolutely could be like, nah, it's okay, fine. We'll just make it work. But there's still just this like, no, we worked so hard at this. Let's do it. Like we can get this done. And
You know what's interesting about that is this came in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Predicted that's also the motto for the new HBO Discovery Plus is it's not art, it's TV.
it's not art. It's TV. Yeah. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Dumb joke. Sorry, interrupted
Did
you,
you-
but
did
I
you
thought
see
it was
that
going to be
thing
funny.
where
And then
he's-
as
No, I enjoyed it. Did you see the thing where he was like, oh no, I'm sure the writer strike will end because they love to work.
yeah, it's,
And it's like,
that's
hey,
the way
why
the
don't
world
you
works, yeah.
love to work and give up some of your billions of dollars, you piece of shit. Whatever. I have
Yeah,
millions, whatever.
garbage fires.
Oh, did you hear about-
I saw the clips from on the front of the strike, and it's Nick Weiger from How Did This Get Played and Doughboys. Like just not like it wasn't for that. Like they just happened to take a picture of him holding up a sign. I'm like, oh fuck, it's my friend Nick again. Horrible parasocial relationship.
Did you hear about Andor?
No,
They're still filming.
what happened?
They're still filming.
Well, filming's fine if they're not rewriting.
No, that's the thing. It's going. There's usually a writer on set and all this stuff. Tony Gilroy.
Oh, yeah, no, fuck that. No.
He's still doing other stuff. Yeah.
No, I'm fine with them if they go, we have locked scripts. You ain't changing a fucking word. We're doing the locked script. Don't have a problem with it. No. If there's a writer within 20 yards, that's not fuck you, scab. No, that's bullshit.
Yep. No, yeah, that's the way. I mean, it generally works that way. So yeah, it's particularly when you think about the content of Andor, and that's what they're doing. It kind of sucks.
That's
I
annoying.
mean, that's the
Yeah.
mouse for you, I guess. But it's to get snooty about it. It's like Jean-Luc Godard was like, "Don't make political films, make films politically." And I think we're finding the shortcomings in doing the opposite.
Rings of Power is doing it the way I just described, where they said, we're going to continue filming, but it's locked. These are the scripts we're using, which is, I mean, probably bullshit, but I like that line of bullshit. Well done.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I was thinking about so I just watched these series of documentaries that In Search of Darkness about 80s movies, and there's one Q, The Winged Serpent, done by Larry Cohen. And he's
I've
known
seen
for
that,
being
yeah.
he's known for being a very guerrilla filmmaker. He'll just like shoot stuff on the street and where he can, whatever. And the whole thing's about a giant like winged dragon attacking New York. And he would take and like he took it to the effects guys. I'm like, okay, here it is. Put the dragon in there, and they're like, that's not how this works at all. You tell us what you want to do. We design the shots, and then you go film plates for us. And he was like, I'm not doing that. Fix it. And so they just sort of, it's just like helicopter footage that they just sort of added the thing into.
Fuck yeah.
But again, that sort of low budget, just whatever, we'll make it work. That permeates this whole movie. And the fact that it was low budget too, I think also adds to it. It doesn't feel like high budget trying to be low budget. And like the music is just like crappy library music, but it works for the whole thing.
Oh, sorry, I just remembered the thing I want to bring up about this movie is one of my favorite reveals is so watching this, it's all handheld, which I get a little queasy doing. There's one scene where the actress is screaming in the first 30 minutes, and it keeps pushing and pulling in out of her face. And like, I literally was feeling queasy. Like, I'm like, oh, I had to stop looking at it for a second. Like, I've got that inner ear thing that gets you sick that way. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck is this movie doing to me? And when it's revealed later, the story behind that, I'm like, oh, fuck, this movie's so good.
Yeah.
Like, that is so good.
Yeah. Every little thing that seemed like nothing in the first one, you know, like I said, the bit where she's like, oh, I found an axe. How convenient. Like, I just kind of went, yeah, okay, whatever. But the reason that happens is very funny. Like, it's just a bunch of little stuff. Or like why the sound man wants to leave is really just good stuff. Yeah, the handheld stuff, I wasn't sure, because I was a little like leery about myself at first. And I mean, it definitely moves away from that, or at least into a more steadied version of that as the film progresses.
Once the first 30 minutes is over, yeah. But see, the problem, one of the things I was like really sensitive about is I recently rewatched the Blair Witch Project, because I was talking about it to somebody. It was on a podcast, yada yada, and I got equally nauseous watching it. Not because of its content; it's just that steady cam, whatever, you know, handheld, just fucks with my inner ear. So I'm like kind of on guard for it. And this movie set that off, but not this movie. The movie within the movie set that off.
Yeah, and all of this is handled with a real light touch, which I like. Even the sort of like this sort of emotional stuff that kind of happens towards the end, even though like it's pretty basic or whatever, like still kind of got to me. Like the relationship with the daughter, like towards the end.
That got me too.
Honestly, but it's like, it's just sweet enough, because I think I'm having a good time and I want them to succeed so much. Like you talk about the parasocial relationships, like they're all my friends now. I love all these people, and I think this is probably like the 5th episode that I've said that. But
us quickly approaching our mid 40s, there is a certain kind of like, there's like the dad hormones are like really in us right now. That like, oh, that's sweet. What a nice relationship.
Well, and you know, talk about the low budgetness is, I think this is the thing that draws me, or has drawn me more towards like older horror movies and stuff like that, is the like, how did they do that? That it's not as present with computers. It's still like, oh, it's very impressive that you did that, or that you know, there's so much invisible stuff happening in post-production that you don't know about, like whether it's just, you know, they're painting buildings behind a person or whatever, like you have no idea. So that stuff's cool in its own way, but it's like, when you're like, how did you get that guy's skeleton to jump out of his body? You know, that it's more of a magic trick. And so I think that's what draws me to some of this too, is that to see it's showing you how they did the magic trick, even though the magic trick itself wasn't that impressive. It's still fun to, you know,
still
fun to watch them pull it off.
On that note, the thing that really like I enjoyed, let's put it that way, is the guy that gets his arm chopped off, and it looks really convincing in the 30-minute footage.
Yeah.
But then when you see the behind the scenes footage, it's just a big hump on his back. It's so obvious where his real arm is.
Yeah.
Like, it's I don't know. I love that shit where it's just like, yep, behind the scenes. That's how the magic trick was done. You're like, oh yeah, I guess I can see it. Like anytime the heads are like, oh yeah, the head was off screen and they just threw it up because you didn't actually see the chopping. Like, it's pretty good. Well done.
Yeah. Or when the scene towards the end when they're on the roof and she is in the movie, she chases the director with an axe and kills him with an axe, and you don't see it on screen. But when they cut to the reverse shot, it's just someone sitting there with a bucket of blood and a tube, and they just suck up a little blood and spit it in her face. It just was so funny. I don't know why that got me so much, but somehow the staging of that just really got me.
So do we start making John and Alex Hate Stuff little short films? Should we like promise the audience? Let's do like 4-minute short films that we can provide to the audience. They're full of really bad special effects.
Yeah, I mean you can shoot it with your phone these days.
Yeah, my terrible acting, it'd be great.
Yeah, it's all just me killing you with an axe for some reason.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. John is going to write a whole bunch of scripts for me to badly act in, and then we'll post it to the Patreon. So yeah. It would be the single worst waste of resources that's ever happened as far as return on investment.
I think there's that old Monty Python sketch where a guy is like, he's a filmmaker and he's like, I made Rear Window first and Hitchcock stole it from me. And they watch the movie and it's like just a shot of a window and the guy's like, there he is. He sees the murderer. Oh no, the murderer's coming to get him. Oh, he's fine now. And he just sticks his head back out the window and waves. And like, that's it. Although there was speaking of that, there was a copyright dispute on this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's in the credits, actually. There was a play called Ghost in the Box, and the creators of that play thought that the one cut that was kind of ripped off of it. And so Ueda acknowledged that it was sort of an inspiration, but he's like, I didn't plagiarize anything from it, but it did inspire us. So how about this? I'll put your name in the credits and I'll give you some money. And the guy went, okay. And whereas like here, that's going to be like, that's going to be years and years and years of like the studio trying to just screw you out of anything, which I was just reading, by the way, we're talking about the strike, that one of the dudes behind Men in Black didn't really make any money on Men in Black because the way the studio does their math. So it's like, it didn't really, sorry. So, I mean, he's like, I think he has money, but it's one of those things where it's like, they're stealing money from you. So they're going to fight to kind of keep it. Whereas I like that this ended nicely. They just went, let's put your name in the credits and give you some money. That sounds fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Simple as.
Yeah, I should start accusing Japanese filmmakers of stealing my work so I can get my name in the credits.
Excuse me, I am a Gundam, and you just made a story about my life.
Yeah, exactly. I'm from America. People look at me like, gun? Damn. And then, story finished.
Yeah. My name is Ted Evangelion. What's this shit?
Yeah. What the fuck?
It's light. This is a very light movie for being called One Cut of the Dead. It's a lot of fun. Like you could, I don't know how scared your children are, but listener, but I'd say kids could probably watch this. If they really don't like blood, even fake blood, stay away from it. Because we didn't get into it too much, but after the director and his wife, they go for the makeup lady, the wife starts like losing her mind and starts basically attacking people and like gets way into the script and starts kicking people and they're all trying to stop her and she just keeps doing the palm slide. And I like that when they're on the roof and the camera's not on her, but like they keep going up, she keeps going palm. To finally they get enough people on there, she can't do that anymore.
Yeah, if I may dust off the old chat, Schrodinger's palm slide.
Chekhov's palm.
Oh God, Chekhov's. I said Schrodinger. Yeah. God damn it.
Yeah. Well, she's both palming and not fucking palming at the same time.
Well, here's the problem: is I have a note open in the same app that I keep my notes in for the podcast. That says Schrodinger's douchebag. And that's when someone says really horrible things, but then just says they're joking when they notice that no one laughs at it. But that word Schrodinger was like literally the periphery of my eye. I was like, oh, fuck. Anyway, my brain's dying.
They end up on the roof of the building. They end up toppling over the jib with all the mayhem. And that's supposed to get that final shot. So they end up getting everyone to do a human pyramid. And then his daughter, who comes up with this idea, climbs on his shoulders and they're able to get the final shot, which makes it even sweeter. And I like that at the end of it, it's not like anything solved. They just made this. Like any interpersonal problems people have, they still have. Like he and his daughter are good at the moment. Like it's not like they had a huge falling out, but they're closer and that's nice. But like the drunk guy still is drunk. He still might lose his daughter. I don't know. Yeah. But just like, that's what matters, is that we got this done and it didn't change the world.
And the TV executive likes it, even though she spent most of the movie on her cell phone.
Yeah. But she's like, yeah, it's great. And it seems like everyone else is kind of waiting to see if she likes it. Cause it seemed like they're not totally stoked on it. But then when she's like, oh, right, great. And they're like, oh yeah, no, it is great.
Well, they keep cutting that producer guy that has like a, technical difficulties with a picture of the bear ripping somebody apart. So he's like, we can just put this up. Yeah.
Just put this up. Way to go. Yeah. Which I like, as I expected that guy to be much more of a pain in the ass, but he wasn't. So they made
it was weird because he was like a producer and he was handsome. So like, he's going to be a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's going to be the guy that's like, no, we got to get the jib shot, rather than him being like, no, we'll just figure out something else. It's fine. This is just TV, Just because I've spent a decent part of my life working for people that are like, this is the most important thing that two people are ever going to see. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And so I get a little burnt out on
commercial.
That, And so it's nice to see something and feel that like, I want this to be good. I want this to be amazing, rather than just being like, okay, calm down. People are just going to get drunk and forget that they even saw this thing.
So what I would have liked, I think we're kind of done talking about this movie. What I would have liked for the movie to end, and this is not a critique, but I do. I'm not saying like they solve everything, but I did sort of maybe want a 1 month later.
Yeah.
And like maybe he gets another like a little bit better job. Like I'm not saying he's a big successful director, but like maybe like a little bit of a tying up a loose ends, a little denouement, if
right.
you will.
Well, because we've, as I've said, like it does end with like, yeah, we did it. We're done. And that is the crux of what we've seen. But like, yeah, we've got to know and like these characters. I wouldn't have been against seeing a little bit extra with them, but you don't even get an Animal House. Like he went on to become senator of the movies or something.
Yeah.
But I do like that the end credits that you do get, you see how the movie was actually made, how they actually did the 30-minute long take of with the people actually filming it or whatever. And there's a bit in the production of it where the camera guy is supposed to have fallen. And I like when you see the camera guy actually do the like, he sets the camera down and then just like waves out his hand because he's been holding it for 15 minutes. And someone's just giving him a plate of water. Like, it's like a tray with a bunch of different waters on it, and he's sipping the waters.
I didn't watch that whole part. I just watched the whole beginning.
It's just seeing it in action was just pretty cool. And that they instead of like they didn't have a jib, but they just used a ladder because it was made for no money, and jibs can be expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, no, they wouldn't have had a ladder. Why would they have had a ladder with them? Although a lot of times that shoots do have ladders, but that seems pretty bare bones. I'm not going to get hung up on it because it made for an emotionally sweet human pyramid. So who cares? It was great.
Emotionally Sweet Human Pyramid was the name of my high school band.
This is going to be a very short episode.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, well, anyway, so I recommend this movie wholeheartedly, and I thank you, John, for introducing it. Yeah, this was a delight. I loved how I didn't like the first half hour, and then when the rest of the movie happened, I'm like, yeah, I really like that first half hour. Like,
yeah,
you did it. Yeah, it's really, really well done.
And there are people that apparently like left, like when it was screened, left because they're like, oh, it's over. This credits rolling. Bye.
It's because of how badly paced the beginning is, like perfectly, like on purpose. That when it ended, I'm like, yeah, that could have been an hour 20 or something. And then I because I'm watching at home, I hit up on my Roku and it's like, 30 whatever minutes. Like, oh shit. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah. But I like that they went with it, that they went full throttle and just like, no, play the entire credits. Obviously there's credits for the rest of the movie, but I got a big kick out of that. But yeah, big thumbs up. I had heard some rumblings about this movie. Some horror people that I follow online were big fans of it. And I was like, oh, I'll check it out. And a friend ended up showing it to me and just fell in love because it's really not a horror movie at all. It's about zombies, but not really. Yeah,
truth. I'm, obviously not a very big horror guy, and this spoke to me on a deep level, and by deep level I mean I just liked it.
It's
pretty
fun.
good.
Yeah,
it's
so nice to be able to just be like, I'm super excited about this movie. It's not like super deep or what it's fun and it's nice. Watch it.
So John, is there any kind of recommendations you have for us? Like you're like, hey, I want to watch this and I should tell the audience about it.
Well, we've been over on the Patreon. We've been going through the John Wick sequels 2 and 3. We just got done recording 3 and put in the mood to watch some more actiony stuff. So I went back and I watched The Raid, which is great. And then coincidentally, Criterion Channel just started this month a film series like showing all these movies from Japanese director Seijun Suzuki, who makes these wild, colorful movies and a lot of crime and cop stuff. Definitely has his own vibe. And I'm a huge fan of Branded to Kill, which I rewatched, which is a strange movie, pretty surreal about, although he apparently doesn't think so, but it's very surreal, about a guy who's like, I forget what number it is, but there's like a ranking of killers and he wants to be the number 1 killer. And he's also very sexually aroused by the smell of cooking rice.
Oh,
if anyone out there has ever played the Nintendo games, No More Heroes, about a guy trying to be the number 1 on the ranking of killers, that's lifted from Branded to Kill. But a lot of fun stars. Joe Shishido, giant guy that's got giant cheeks. You may have seen him in a couple of Mystery Science Theater 3000 movies, but he's a terrific actor, even with or without those cheeks. But yeah, those would be my 2 recommendations.
I mean, the cheeks sound like a pretty big draw, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, as far as my recommendations, I've been rewatching House for the 15th time.
The TV show?
And it's great. Yeah. With House MD with Hugh Laurie.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's not Lupus.
It's a comfort. It's a comfort watch.
Absolutely.
I watch it like a lot. Like, and
Yeah.
rewatching it again. And well, I mean, I guess I could talk about this as far as recommendation. Because I talked about it last time when I was on my Stephen King binge. So I finished Stephen King's It, which I believe is going to be the last Stephen King novel, audiobook. Because that book was stupid and I didn't like it. I mean, I guess it's been spoken of a lot. But now that I've actually, like, read, aka heard the scene where those kids are running train on their friend.
Yep. Not great.
I mean, beyond just not great. Because I thought, like, okay, bunch of 12-year-olds, they have sex. Obviously not something want to be into. But I could get it from a story perspective if it didn't happen in the last, like, 3 chapters. Where at that point, it's just excessive. That's character and world building, which is fine in the first 40% of the book. You're just throwing that shit in at the end because you thought it was a cool idea and you were wrong. It was gross. And also, they use the N-word a bunch. I mean, Stephen King uses the N-word a bunch. Every book I've read by Stephen King, except for one, and I'm pretty sure that one actually still had the N-word in it, uses the N-word. Calm the fuck down, dude.
Well,
really annoying.
It didn't have the same stigma. People were using it much more freely, like Stephen King did.
But when did it come out?
It's like, I want to say it's 80s.
Oh, I thought it was maybe 90s. Okay, all right. Well, I'm not saying that forgives it, but like the N-word, like the bar graph or whatever, I feel like the peak is probably more towards the 80s than the 90s. Yeah, all right. I also really hate the end of the book because there was a lot of good setup. It's not like a totally bad book.
Yeah.
But he is one of those guys that just loves having a good idea, and his ideas are great and doesn't bother to think of the end. This one is, it's a interdimensional kind of spider god thing, and the only way to defeat it is to have the other turtle god give you hints. That's so fucking stupid. I mean, if there was turtle god shit in the beginning, no, it'd still be stupid, but it'd be less stupid. But yeah, anyway, so I've decided Stephen King needs to just give ideas to a better writer.
I think they just fought the giant spider in the miniseries, the ABC miniseries. I don't remember.
I should
how
hope
they
so.
did it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the deadlights and all that. But I don't remember. I just remember the clown was scary.
No, the clown was scary. Like, there was a lot of good stuff in there. It's just,
but he doesn't always
really, like,
he struggles with endings big time.
He needs a better editor, or he needs to give his ideas to like Brandon Sanderson and be like, here, can you please make an efficient book out of this? No, you don't even worry about how the words come together. Make an efficient book. Cool. You need like 4 quotable things that like nerdy guys with neck beards can quote, and then we're good. Yeah.
I just think efficiency isn't always what I want out of a book, but point taken.
No, but if you're gonna fuck it up, at least give me an efficient, because his story is great. Like his idea is great. I don't need 1,500 pages in which you didn't bother to end it well. If all I'm getting out of this, the only thing positive is, oh, that was a good idea, give it to an efficient writer, give it to me in 350 pages, and we're good.
I see. Yeah, it's been years. It's like probably at least 20 years since I've read that book, so I can't really. I just remember the end with the kids was yeesh. Like
Murakami, Haruki Murakami. I think that's his first name. Doesn't matter. The point is, his last book was like a shitload of pages, like probably over 1,000 pages. But he's really good at writing, and probably doesn't really even have that many ideas. And it's like, cool. I'm just hanging out here. Like, you're saying beautiful words in my face. I'm here for it. So that's fine. But if you're Stephen King, where you just got to jack it off for 1,500 pages, you got to fucking, let's step back a little bit.
I also don't know if that was like peak cocaine, Stephen King as well. Like, there's that movie Maximum Overdrive he made. Yeah, that came out in 86. And he does not remember making it.
Okay. Well, I mean, that explains it a little bit.
Yeah.
More than
he's just going. Yardley Smith's in it.
Yes. Yeah. Yardley Smith is in, Maximum Overdrive, as well as, Emilio Estevez. And I don't think anybody else famous. I've seen that movie more than twice, which I'm not proud of.
Pat Hingle, he was Commissioner Gordon in Tim Burton's Batman. and Bobo in The Grifters. We all love Bobo, don't we, folks? Yeah.
Oh, he's in that? Yeah, I don't. I mean, I remember that. I remember Commissioner Gordon from the Tim Burton ones. I don't remember him being in that movie.
So this was my selection for this week. Is there anything you'd like to watch next time, Alex?
Well, we were talking earlier in the episode about Duncan Jacks, a baboon, and his adventures in the Order of the Black Eagle, and I thought we would watch the other movie of that series, Unmasking the Idol, of which I would like to read a description from the back of the DVD. Secret agent Duncan Jacks must form an elite strike force to stop the sale of atomic weapons to the Scarlet Leader, mankind's most evil and sadistic adversary. That's it. That's the entire description of the movie.
Excellent. Yeah. I mean, what more do you need?
Well, I mean, it's rated PG. It's from Polo Players Limited. Presents a Barry J. Stevens, Robert P. Eaton production. Unmasking the Idol. The Adventures of Duncan Jacks and Boone. Boone being the baboon. If you didn't pick up on that.
Well, this sounds like, if I may coin a phrase here, a delight.
Yeah, I mean, good word. I should start using that. As far as John and I are aware, this is available on Amazon Prime. It is kind of a weird, obscure movie, but we're pretty sure it's on Prime. I'm sure it's on YouTube for free somewhere too. So if you want to watch along with us.
Both things are true.
Yeah, so do that. We will catch you next time. We love you deeply. We'd love you better if you signed up and followed us on Twitter and our TikTok, which I've been actually posting a little bit too. And yeah, all those things at JawsPod on the various socials. So do that. Bye.
Goodbye.